Hi, Jenny Stone here from HR Shield with your HR Rescue. Each day we get hundreds of questions from our clients and other small and mid-sized business owners about some of the most common HR issues. We figured if they have those questions, you might too. So let's provide a lifeline and share our answers to some of the most common scenarios. As legal developments affecting the workplace take effect, employers should ensure that their employee handbooks and workplace policies are compliant and current. Whether on the state or local level or related to leaves of absences or e-cigarette use, there continues to be a rise of legislation that touches upon employee rights and employer obligations in the workplace. To update an employee handbook, an employer should take the following steps. Step 1. Update equal employment opportunity policies. Employment rights not covered by federal law, for example, those who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, and discrimination protections based on certain additional characteristics, continue to expand across states and at the local level. New York City, for example, made headlines in spring 2019 when it prohibited discrimination based on natural hair and hairstyles. Meanwhile, other states, such as Connecticut and Delaware, have enacted sexual harassment prevention laws that impose training requirements in the continuing response to the Me Too movement. Employee handbooks and workplace policies should be reviewed and updated to ensure compliance with the most recent equal employment opportunity laws. Step 2. Update reasonable accommodation policies. An employee's right to a reasonable accommodation in the workplace is expanding, and keeping current with the latest developments on this front can be tricky. For example, Kentucky employers with 15 or more employees must provide lactation and pregnancy accommodations, while employers in Baltimore, Maryland, are required to provide certain lactation accommodations. There is also movement to provide reasonable accommodations to victims of domestic violence, sexual offense, or stalking when necessary to ensure the person's security and safety. For example, ability to receive medical care and/or counseling. Employers in the District of Columbia, for instance, are now required to provide such accommodations to an employee who is a victim of domestic violence, sexual offense, or stalking, unless doing so would result in undue hardship on the employer. Employee handbooks and workplace policies should be reviewed and updated to ensure compliance with the most recent reasonable accommodation laws. Step 3. Comply with new and amended leave laws. Keeping current with the state and local laws related to leaves of absence and time off from work continue to be a challenge for many employers, especially those operating in multiple jurisdictions. Such laws may range from providing employees with paid sick leave to care for a covered family member, to providing time off to vote or serve as an emergency responder. Maine, for example, provides leave to employees who serve as emergency medical services person or a search and rescue volunteer. Meanwhile, employers in Dallas, Texas, with 5 or more employees, must provide paid sick leave to eligible employees. Employee handbooks and workplace policies should be reviewed and updated to ensure compliance with the most recent leaves of absence and time off from work laws. Step 4. Revise safe driving policies. Take note that the movement to ban individuals from talking, texting, or otherwise using mobile devices while driving affects an employer's safe driving policies. While such policies prohibiting distracted driving while driving a company vehicle and/or on company time promote safety and minimize employer liability, they must also be compliant with the state and local law. For instance, employers in Arizona and Maine should ensure that their safe driving policies remind employees that using a mobile device while operating a motor vehicle is prohibited and that such actions will not be encouraged. Employee handbooks and workplace policies should be reviewed and updated to ensure compliance with the most recent laws related to the use of a mobile device while driving. Step 5. Amend smoke-free workplace policies. States and localities continue to respond to the rise of e-cigarette use, vaping, by passing legislation prohibiting its use and the use of other tobacco substitutes in the workplace. Additionally, as an increasing number of states legalize the use of marijuana, whether for medical or recreational purposes, some jurisdictions, such as Colorado and Florida, now explicitly prohibit the smoking of marijuana in places of employment as well. As a result, employers should ensure that their workplace smoking policies are compliant with the rapidly changing laws and that employees and visitors are made aware of such prohibitions. Employee handbooks and workplace policies should be reviewed and updated to ensure compliance with the most recent smoking and e-cigarette laws. As always, thank you for watching and listening, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and you can always email us for more information at support@hr-shield.com or enable our Alexa skill and ask your questions there. Just say, "Alexa, enable HR Shield."